assassin in the world couldn't play him. It's Dami. So they can't really take Thrall away because Dami, like, he can say in interviews all he wants that, like, he just doesn't think it's strong, but everybody knows his Thrall is just not very good compared to the other players at the time. Rich, for example, was his rival, right, in terms of melee assassin back in summer season. And Wiz is a great Thrall. He's making this work with these interesting comps with No Chat on the Rag and then into the Zarya with a Diablo. We're going to go into Towers of Doom here, as it will be the map pick here for MVP Miracle. I mean, sorry, Supreme Mixtape, as Miracle will get first ban.
Yeah, because MVP Miracle, well, they chose their map and then they lost it. Like, that was their favorite. Like, they have the highest win score since TNL on that map. And going into Towers of Doom, I'm kind of actually worried that momentum has shifted, and the entire time of Game 2, they have not won a single team fight, and they were just pushed, and then it was game over.
It was like that that song about the guy at the skateboard. He's like, push, 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 coast. They coasted through that game. It was easy. You know, kick push. I don't know the song, man. I'm sorry, I lived in Korea too long already. Kick push. They kicked him with Diablo. They coasted. I don't know.
And now we're into Towers of Doom. Just totally ignore Wolf, guys. And Zarya is banned as it should be. I honestly think they might actually ban Thrall again. They should know this by now. And I think surprising, they were also a little surprised with that Morales third pick, and they were hiding Diablo Thrall at the end.
This strategy doesn't really work on Towers of Doom because the lanes are further apart and you don't get that permanent damage. The bell towers can just simply be restored. They're going to ban Falstad, which is a pretty obvious one. What I'm looking for here is the possibility of that no chat Medivh. We've seen a lot of Medivh on this map. Rich started it. We've seen it in Europe as well. And a few times in America, actually. I mean, it's kind of a worldwide phenomenon. We were seeing it first here in Korea when Medivh was released. Something to look for potentially in this draft is something we might see.
Yeah, it's not like tier 1 hero in this map, but somewhere in there. It comes out often, also in the top tier in Hero League ladder in Korea also.
I just feel like in terms of like where Medivh hit the mark in Heroes of the Storm, is he's just like the perfect niche hero that you don't have to see. He's not Saren. You can never really predict when he's going to pop out. Pass. I'm going to grab that up. And this means that Supreme Mixtape is definitely going to have to consider the Vala. They've been using Sergeant Hammer so far as their source of single attack damage, but there's no way they can remove now Miracle from getting Vala without taking it themselves. They could just go Vala Mouth here. I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah, seems like the safe choice to be there, but is Miracle going to use Vala again? That seems likely, but I also think they have something else in plan. They have to, like, just in case they lose that Vala to Supreme Mixtape. Well, just first pick Tastar, the reason why it is so strong during draft, because you can hide everything. You can make yeah, there we go, as you predicted. They pick Supreme Mixtape, pick Malfurion and Vala, but here comes Miracle. It is their time to show what they're actually thinking right now, because I'm not the only one that thinks, and you're not the only one that thinks, and everyone in the world thinks. Then they should know, and Miracle should know that Supreme Mixtape has a high chance of taking away that Vala.
They got put into a tight corner by this Falstad ban. Right now, Miracle has not a single thing. Like, you know, when you look at the top tier heroes right now, in terms of first ban, first pick, and first rotation heroes, you got the Tastar, but you lost the Vala and the Malfurion. The only thing that's left is Rag, which doesn't actually really synergize with Tastar in any way. Miracle with this first pick Tastar, with no Vala or Malfurion ban here, kind of painted themselves into a corner. And now, suddenly, there's no strong pick, and Supreme Mixtape is winning this draft.
It was kind of obvious that they had to have a plan B, but after looking at... here comes Illidan!
All right, I was going to say, if this is Dami's time to play Thrall, you know, this could be it with Tastar. They're going to bring Illidan in, and this is going to be an interesting game because now we're finally going to get to see Dami's carry potential here on a melee assassin.
And I was gonna say, did you see that look on Crazy moving? It looked like he was out of it already, and we see that often within a series. And if he's out of it, usually he loses his potential and he just like overextends way too much, or like dispositions himself into the side and like puts himself into a danger. We didn't start the game yet, so let's see what happens. But it looked like he had no idea what to do after losing that Bala for a second.
I think Supreme Mixtape could still absolutely control this from here. This is not an easy ban, but I think the best ban is Li Ming. If you take Li Ming away, you know, we talked about how Li Ming isn't that good against the Vala compositions when you have Tastar to shield. In this case, they don't have that Tastar. Li Ming is good for the burst. She's going to have so much free damage with Illidan in the front lines. I'd go Li Ming here. They ban the Rhaegar. They don't want the burst heal.
Yeah, they don't want Illidan to be ancestral. So basically that is banned, and ETC actually banned from Miracle's side.
Yeah, they already have a solid stunner here. And they're not going to be able to fit any more tanks into this lineup.
And Supreme Mixtape, Towers of Doom, they can still do the Haka. There are some options here, Moradin, very strong frontliners, and Haka also has Global, which Miracle does not yet. So I see, it seems like the Haka would be the likely choice.
Alright. Dahaka is a great choice. Can completely remove Illidan from the fight. I'm trying to think of alternatives here in terms of what to grab. They can also just take Thrall. We could have the ultimate top lane solo battle between Wiz and Dami. And that's what I would love to see.
They can also have Tyrael to make sure that Sank saves Vala, and maybe Tyrael and someone else they're just gonna go ahead and pick up a lot more damage. And against Illidan, they're picking up more auto attacks.
I think you're on the money with the Tyrael. I think that's going to be their last pick, very likely, especially now that they've chosen Rag into and Tychus into this. Miracle can't grab a tank. If they do, they won't have any range damage whatsoever. So they're painted themselves again into this corner where like the next picks become somewhat obvious. Now, the choice they have here is of course in supports. In terms of damage they have left, I think Li Ming is the obvious one. That's why I was talking about that ban earlier, but Rhaegar was taken. Karzim and Morales are the two being kind of like being thought about here. It would not actually be out of the realm of possibility to see a Lili pick here as well, but I don't think that we're going to see that here. Sorry, not Lili, Brightwing. And I was going to say, I don't think we're going to see the Brightwing, but we do see it, so... this is like as standard as it gets in terms of double support, global, and the Li Ming. It's a really good composition, but it's a dated composition.
Yeah, it feels like it. MVP Miracle does look like they have the potential to burst out. And the problem is the Supreme Mixtape have enough CC and skill damage to take down that Dami. Is that going to be possible? And also the trouble will be the taunt from Varian. They really have to get that out, and there's only one.
They could either go, yeah, they could either go Tyrael here or Johanna, and the Johanna counter is what they go with. The cool thing about Tyrael is you can't auto attack as Illidan to cooldown reduction in the fight when there's Sanctification off, but Johanna can blind him, so he can't auto attack more regularly, and also with the Varian you just talked about having that block against the taunt.
Yeah, it seems like both teams actually are on point of what they want to do, but let's say it is 1-1 right now, but let's see if Towers of Doom will actually lead towards the winner. MVP Miracle versus Supreme Mixtape. Let's get into game number 3.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for this flashy Game 3. Honkono on Varian, Dami on Illidan, Sniper on Tastar, Crazy Moving on Li Ming, and Darvish on Brightwing. I wanted that mad. I hit it going for a second.
And their opponent, Supreme Mixtape, Scarlet on the Valkyrie and Dudu on Vala, Wiz on Ragnaros, Judy on Johanna, no chat on Tychus.
Here we go. Match number 3. Winner takes match point.
Yeah, I think Wiz being on Ragnaros would actually fit a lot in the sense, because he's very used to melee, and also he's Scarlet getting caught from the beginning and is polymorph and dead.
Gotta be careful.
Good pick from the beginning.
This isn't Abathur Illidan, but it's still a very strong single target blow up that you can get with if you catch someone with that stun. You know, the poly, I should say. And we're gonna see a little bit of attempt to gank by Brightwing here, because she's just so good in the early game for that teleport to gank when Dami rotates as we move on. So basically, Wiz versus Dami up in the top lane right now is going to be a tough matchup for Wiz. But if for any reason, you know, like we see kind of a rotation back by Illidan, or if he leaves, that's when Wiz is going to have to make that call to his teammates, especially whoever's in the mid lane alone, because that's when the gank is going to come in.
Yep, and Wiz is definitely going to have a hard time laning against Illidan. This is our first Korean Illidan in an HGC, and here comes Brightwing. Poly right away. Is that going to be enough damage? Wiz is actually juking pretty well. Body blocking by Dami. Is that going to be? That is enough. Just enough damage with that addition of Honkono at the end.
So this is the other side of the coin, where Wiz actually just extends into lane because he has better wave clear than Illidan, and then gets killed because of the teleport. So they really need to be on point as the Brightwing, they need to like know the Brightwing timer. It's going to be an arcane build from Brightwing, by the way. It's going to build out her Q, so she has more range, more damage, etc. in the center. So that's something that's going to allow her to help delay the altar channels, and also will give a little bit more range damage to this double support composition.
And Judy actually took some damage before she pressed that D button. And also, Ragnaros Wiz actually went into the Molten Core.
Yep, they're trying to delay the spot channel here. Sniper can delay almost indefinitely. It's such a short cooldown on this Psy Storm. Here comes the rotation, and Judy very aggressive here. Wiz is here as well. Looks like Miracle's just going to soak and give this up, although as I say that, Brightwing does teleport in.
But Leaving is almost here, not yet, and they do take this. The lanes were not so perfect for MVP Miracle, so they had to stall. They had to delay. They got delayed, and they had to take some more time soaking that EXP, making sure their lanes were set.
All right. Small win here for Supreme Mixtape. Big win for Miracle in terms of EXP. 2 kills to 0, and the extra Brightwing soak. Got that extra wave in the top lane. And we'll see her eventually head up to the top. Or, sorry, not her, but Dami head to the top as Wiz gets that 1 extra wave. So here, she's going to have her phase shift again very soon. And this is what Wiz needs to be careful about in that lane. If he goes too far, he will be ganked. And they're actually just going to 4-man this bot lane a little bit. At least they were temporarily there. Not sure the idea there. Here's the teleport I was talking about. Wiz survives this time, but it's a positive trade here. And this means for the next objective, they might just leave Darvish up there. Oh, he's going to rotate down. I was going to say, he could just stay up there if Illidan wants to do a little bit more roaming. That's a cool part about having this strong solo laner. You can get a good trade, and then you can leave the global to finish everything else off.
Yeah, but because Miracle stayed up, they did lose 1 more shot on the altar. But because they stayed in that lane on top and mid, they do lead in experience a little bit by soaking in lane. These are some of the small things in game that it's not like too flashy. It's not like making the super plays. But it is important later on because you get that level lead, and it turns to be you get to pick the talent before heroic before you fight. Basically, you are just stronger.
That's right. So we're gonna have 7 and 7 here though, and you can see Dami wanted to get the top mercs before this happened, but he was a bit slow on it, so he had to cancel that and leave. And everyone is here. Brightwing is here as well. Not gonna be teleporting in. She didn't go for a teleport build anyway. She has cleanse. In this case, Dami is going in deep. Does avoid that damage from the Molten Core.
And Miracle just going around, make sure they don't take too much damage, and Ragnar also joins the fight. Looks like Illidan is actually going to channel on the bottom. Joanna is going to cancel that. Darvish also channeling this time. It looks like Honkanos, and they do channel the top one, and they just have to. It is even on the core health, and Illidan has been hiding on that bottom push, it looks like.
All right, here comes Judy up at the front. Going to try to find something with this, as we're even now as this altar fight continues. The altar fighting comp definitely is in favor of Miracle here. As you could see, they have so much poke, and Illidan's such a great frontliner, but they lose control here temporarily. Judy looking for this big condemn again. Let's get the AoE there from Wiz as well. They're going to start channeling, but look at all the poke they have, especially with Sniper and Crazy moving to stop this altar from channeling. Supreme Mixtape is going to need to get a better trade or a pick before they can actually get this. They're going to try again, but obviously they will be denied. So that's the story of these altars right now, and Miracle is just so significantly ahead in EXP as well. The longer this goes on, it might feel hopeless for his SMT. They might just simply let this one go for the time being to try to get it faster. So
SMT, they just had to stall some more time because top, and Brightwing did go top because top wave was getting way too big. He was pushing towards MVP Miracle's side. And even in mid, this is 4v5. I know Brightwing can join in any moment, but still, that seemed like to be the right choice. Just both teams just clearing waves, just delaying whatever they can. Both sides have somewhat of a poke, a lot of poke actually, and sustain more of a Miracle. So Dami decides to jump in right just like that, but actually doesn't do so much damage because the blind.
Okay, so Honkono is going to be the next to go down here. The blind was huge, as you mentioned. And when you reach that impasse, you've got to send Brightwing top, because why else would you pick a global hero if you're not going to use it? So when you reach that impasse, she goes up top. She comes in here, though. The blind denies so much damage. And when you teleport in like that, you broadcast your dive. Dami came in a little bit too soon, and Brightwing didn't talent into her teleport shield. So she chose the cleanse instead. And this means that she doesn't give any extra shields as a solo secondary support. She just does slow tick healing. So Dami doesn't have a burst heal. He doesn't have a burst shield either. And that's part of why they lost that fight, because it was just so telegraphed what he was going to do. The blind comes out, and then that's it. With this Hungry Arrow build as well, if Dami is super far away from everybody else, he's going to take the max amount of damage from that arrow. Look, they got a silence too. The more I look at this, I feel like Supreme Mixtape has the better comp, and they should theoretically be able to win this. The problem is, of course, their lack of poke. But besides that, in terms of team fighting, it should go in their favor.
Well, it's Supreme Mixtape. Bala did go towards that arrow build, and it is now Dami pushing it all the way with Sniper's shield. Maybe they thought Tastar's shield was just enough, and they didn't need extra shield on that Illidan. But going all in, but doing close to no damage because you're blinded.
Yeah.
And if you look at the other four compared to Illidan, Varian is like the only one that can actually come in with Illidan, but the other three actually has to be so far away from the fight. And if they get isolated somehow, then that's basically going to be it, and they also get blinded.
Well, keep in mind too, solo tank Varian is not the best tank of all time either. Like, he doesn't offer a lot of heal, and he's of course taunt, so he gets a lot of HP bonus. But that's only after that he gets the that's where he gets his heroic. So he's a little bit stronger, a little bit better at peeling now. As we see Molten Core here, going to try to poke this away. That's one poke that SMT really does have, but it's only temporary. As we see the big engage. Look at this, Dami is just focused instantly. Does have to use his Metamorphosis, and he will survive. But
poor Brightwing does not
Darvish
survive. Will not. And that was almost a baited one. The moment they dived in, Scarlet just popped that Twilight Dream, and there was silence. No way of getting out of that. And poor Darvish, he had to be the one.
I have to wonder now if this build into Arcane Flare is actually correct, because especially losing the phase shield here with how they've decided to build this is just so terrifying. It means that Dami basically has, in terms of heals, not a whole lot. I mean, now they have Blink Heal, but it's so small. It almost feels like he's solo support, you know, Illidan here, which is just not, it's just simply not going to work. I mean, it's not true, but it feels that way with the lack of heals and shields that Brightwing provides him. It's just Tassadar alone that he's relying upon.
I think they built a comp that can work, but it's not the best comp, as you can say. And Supreme Mixtape, knowing that, really taunting their opponents to come in to them instead of just engaging, because that's not how it works. Because if they engage, one of them can actually, that would actually make it better for Miracle, because they don't have to engage. Honkono can just taunt one, and they can cut one, and Limi can dive in. That's the power of Miracle that they have right now, and just Dami diving in, making themselves separate from the team fight. I think that's exactly what Supreme Mixtape wants, and they're going for it all the time. Maybe they can fix it during this time, but for now it is going towards Supreme Mixtape. And if this set goes 2-1 for SMT,
look, I mean, it's pretty scary, just the thought of it, right? And Miracle's just really struggling, and I feel like the big, not mistake, but the big choice that's coming back to bite them here is how Darvish is building Brightwing. Without the phase shield, it's just really, really tough for Dami to carry. And Dami's used to playing Illidan and Thrall when he does play it, which is super rare. And Greymane into Tyrael compositions. He doesn't have Tyrael to back him up, he doesn't have the phase shield. And I feel like it's probably frustrating for Dami to feel like, man, I just don't have the backup I need to make this Illidan pick worth it.
Wiz go into Molten Core, and Laser also placed just to cancel out, and Crazy Living does cancel the channel with Disintegrate. Scarlet still on to the channeling, and Wiz is almost done with that Molten Core.
He needs to come over here.
And they're coming, Dami is just channeling just to bait them, and it is not so common that Bala goes Q build here, but I think that's the right choice because they need more pokes, and her pokes can do a lot more damage now.
Also keep in mind hold that thought as we're going to see this fight ensue. Huge Sulfuric Smash. Nice dodge there by Darvish, but it won't matter. Both melee assassins gone now. There's just not enough healing to keep them alive. And Varian just doesn't have the peels that another solo tank like, say, a Muradin would have or an ETC would have. And the Q is so powerful when you have a solo target, like when Dami goes in alone and the Q isn't going to hit anybody else, just continues to hit him over and over and over again to do extra damage. So they're going to get this bell tower again, and health is ticking down for Miracle. Supreme Mixtape is approaching 16, and I'm impressed by this team today. I really am. Against L5, I said, look, they looked like they had their moments against L5. They didn't look like a weak team, but as I said before as well earlier tonight, when you compare any team to L5, they look weak. But now we're seeing Supreme Mixtape look strong against Miracle. I'm worried for Miracle. I mean, look, they got second place at the World Championship of Gold Club, and now they might actually go 0-2 in this league.
Yeah, from the beginning, that's not they're not going to drop out, so it's not going to finish them, but still, they're getting super pushed, and it looks like they have started to lose it again. Gets in, taunts Johanna off of it, does not get too much off that.
Oh man, this is going to be an escort attempt with the Sappers.
That team comp does not look practiced too much. They just had to improvise in the middle.
Okay, they get rid of all the Sappers at least, but it's going to be at the cost of Honkono. Not entirely sure why he was so far up there. Perhaps trying to get a taunt to pull into this kill zone, but it doesn't work. And 16-32, literally double the health here for SMT. They're going to try to escort these as well. Look at Johanna, already going to clear mid, and she's going to be able to slow down the top left channel. If they get this escort off, it's so huge for them right now. Look at the vision as well the scouting drone provides. Supreme Mixtape is owning this game. Belongs to them.
They're distributing the right members at the right time, I feel like. They're really doing a great job on that. And Wiz on that Ragnaros, hitting that smash onto the right target at the right time. I think he's actually making this a lot favorable to Supreme Mixtape, and they know exactly how to deal with MVP Miracle's team comp right now.
Look, they got double 5, and they got 1 pumpkin mana if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. They got double 5. Nope, actually no pumpkin mana. I miscounted. Yeah, so they got double 5 anyways, and now Miracle is just stuck here.
Yep, still 23 difference in core health level, and Brightwing flew in, but nothing is happening. They really want that bell tower down.
This is a strategy you see in Korea all the time. When you have a bell tower, you just defend it and collect the sappers whenever they're available because they're on such short cooldown. And you kind of just play this mini game until the altars are up, and then because you have that sapper pressure, you win the altar phase. In this case, they're going to lose the bell tower for now. We're going to have this fight, and Hong Kono is losing so much of his health. Mind you, this was a 5v4 exchange.
Yeah, Judy just came into the fight. Joanna was not there the entire time. And they did the right job. They couldn't stay near that line, and they were backing out, and they were kiting pretty well. And also, MVP Miracle, they were focusing their skill shots onto that bell tower, so they lost a lot of damage, especially Leeming and Brightwing. So that's why they couldn't do so much of the damage, but still, they finally ended up getting that bell tower. Maybe this is their chance to really come back.
This is, it's going to be a tall order to make a comeback here for MVP Miracle. They're just so far behind. Boss is available. 2 altar channels will win the game for Supreme Mixtape. All they have to do is 1-1-0, they're going to push here. Ancona walks right into the Blessed Shield. Base checks will potentially lose MVP Miracle this game. Oh boy, another Condemn's going to be available here in just a second, and this could be lights out. There's the Condemn. So if Pyrrhic Smash does whiff here, they've done enough damage. I think they can start to channel. Ancona is nowhere to be seen as he is dead for 30 more seconds. The double channel here, and will they get Wiz? They do stop the channel, but Dami's now stuck and alone. Will Metamorphosis. There's not enough healing to keep him alive. He has to retreat, though. He's on the run. And Supreme Mixtape is looking so good. This is really the most hype I think I've felt in this entire tournament so far, because they are just playing out of their minds right now.
Yeah, no chat. After channeling, he joins the teamfight. It is 4v5 still. Varian on cooldown. 3 seconds left on the respawn. There's just no way that Miracle can actually do this. Even Laser Drill barely stops the channel. But Dami goes in, but nothing can be done about this. Varian does join the fight, but it looks like the health are pretty low, especially for Sniper. Miracle does go in. Polymorph blows out Malfurion. Maybe this is their chance. Dami on to chase on No Chat, and Darvish Konkona onto the chase. Haunted Wiz. Can Wiz actually make up? Smash does not hit the damage, but it looks like they have enough damage. It is at the end. Supreme Mixtape taking a win from Teamfight and eventually casting this.
That will do it. Play-by-play is pretty hard, right, G-Clef? We did it. We got through there. And we are going to have this game go in favor of Supreme Mixtape. 2-1. They are 1 win away from advancing here, taking a win over finalists of the Gold Club World Championship, MVP Miracle. And look, I feel like Supreme Mixtape played well, but the composition and the talent build for Brightwing, for Darvish, did not work out for Miracle. They had a great poke comp to slow down these altars, but it just felt like Dami couldn't do anything, and it wasn't even his fault. He just didn't have any backup, right? There he is now. You can see he's pretty frustrated with how this game happened. And solo tank Varian, Hong Kono is the guy. The one fight they almost won was the last one because they got the hook or the taunt onto Malfurion, so he couldn't cleanse, and he was caught. So positioning mistake there. They still couldn't win the fight because immediately after that, Crazy Moving died, and it was a disaster.
And Dami went way too aggressive in there. Dami, a great player, especially on melee heroes, but still their team comp, I don't think they practiced that kind of sort of team comp. They were a little bit off, and it is very late in Korea too. It is 12:39 a.m.
And 33 seconds.
And I know they don't come here like before the match starts, like hours before the match starts. They actually come like maybe an hour before the match starts. So they should have got a good sleep, but it is still very late, and losing that game too, I think that was a big punch in their heads.
Yeah. Might not even been their heads, man. Might have been a little bit more painful.
Like in the stomach.
Right. Gut punch. Yeah, that was it. That's it for sure. Maybe a kick right in the knee. That hurts. Might
yeah,
break
I
the
know we're
kneecaps
trying
off.
to dodge that place that hurts the most if you get kicked. But yeah.
Yeah, right. It's right in your armpit. Actually, nobody knows, but that's the where.
Yeah, Miracle, they have started to lose this from the draft. As you mentioned, it was also partially because Brightwing went for that Q build. I think that was also crucial, and also Vala going for the same Q build on Towers of Doom. That's not super common, but it is there sometimes. That I think that also played a big factor.